Good evening and welcome to the Orleans Hotel and Casino and the National Finals Tonight Show. Brought to you in part by Cinch, Preferred, Dewshine, Cactus Saddles, Ram, Montana Silversmiths, Budweiser, 14 Hands and H3 Wines, Crown Royal, Absolute, Bullet Bourbon, JP Weisers, Big Tex Trailers, Cow Ranch, LG, Weaver Leather, Boot Barn, Resist All Hats, Rodeo Historical Society, Ecolab, Pilot Flying J, American Cowboy. National Finals tonight with 8-time World Champion Bull Rider Donnie Gay, 8-time World Champion Cowboy Joe Beaver, and the men and women of the NFR. Sit back, relax, and enjoy National Finals tonight. And now, here's your host, award-winning television personality, Mr. Dan Miller.
What a good-looking crowd. Hi, everyone. Welcome to National Finals tonight. We are so glad to have you here. Welcome to the Orleans Hotel, our new home here for season number 9 of National Finals tonight. How many went to the rodeo tonight? Very many of you went. It's getting good, isn't it? It's just awesome. We've got great people ready to come out and visit with you, and let's get our stars out here to get this thing started. This first gentleman, I've been working on television with him for 30 years, and it's still one of the best things I do. Would you welcome 8-time world champion bull rider Donnie Gay is here tonight. Donnie.
All right. You did it.
How are you?
I've been trying to get him to call us stars for a long time. You know, you did good.
Yeah. Will that check cash?
Felt good, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Looks good, doesn't he, huh? I mean, all things considered, yeah. Let's get out our other co-host out here, also an 8-time world champion. We've been doing this. This is our 94th show, Donnie, of doing this show, and we've been here for all of them. Would you welcome Joe Beaver is here tonight. Joseph.
Kind of like birthdays. I haven't been counting that much.
Where we
all
going?
Right, who wants T-shirt? Make noise.
Where my goat guys at? Where my goat crew in the back? All right, all the way back. You sure you want it?
All right, good. What a snag.
Oh, yeah. No, wait.
Yeah,
Man, a
good,
fastball.
Joe.
I don't get paid millions for that, though.
Yeah.
Joe always comes bearing
Used to be
gifts.
candy for the pretty girls.
Tell them what you're giving away tonight, Joe.
We are giving away T-shirts for the show, and the Purple Bands, we started a little deal for diabetes for the Indian Rodeo about 4 years ago. Raised $10,000, LLC'd it, turned it over, said, here, run with it, and they've done great with it.
Yep, great. And Donnie and Joe both also work the Indian National Finals Rodeo out here. It's in November, right, that you guys do that. Good for you. We want to ask you during the course of the show if you have any questions you would like to ask any of the people up here. It's easy to do. There's a text number that you can dial, 702-983-0638, and that number will be, there it goes, right across the big screen up there, 702-983-0638. We've already got questions coming in. I'm liking them already. Also, we are going out on YouTube if you get home or if you want to call somebody and take a look at National Finals tonight. I looked at it again today. Last night we had Stephen Baldwin here, and we had Luke Perry here last night, and Tuff Hedeman, the Western Wishes folks. And
Yeah, Tuff was so nice to me.
he was nice to Joe today, too. Wasn't he?
Yeah, it was. I had a day with him today myself.
We'll just leave it right there at that. Let's do one question here, Donnie, before we take a look at some highlights here tonight. This question has come in. It says, Donnie, do you think J.W. Harris still has enough years of competition left in him to beat your record? If not, who do you think has a chance to beat your record?
Well, the answer to that first one is yeah, he has plenty of time, but whether or not that's his goal, it's a little different. He moved over to the PBR, and you know, I would count the PBR, just like Tuff Hedeman won 3 world titles in the PRCA and 1 in the PBR. So to me, he's 4-time world champion, and you know, and I don't have a problem with that. So I think that JW had his priorities changed with the second child at the house, and he can win as much money or more where he's at going to the PBR, and he can stay home more, and that's his choice. Now, problem with that is once you start staying home, you don't ride as good. And I don't care who you are, when you start splitting your time and you lose a little bit of focus, you're just not going to win that much. So whether he will or not, that remains to be seen. I'll be his biggest cheerleader. Yep. That'd be fun. Who else? Well, go ahead and pick Sage Kimsey. I mean, here's kids, 21 years old, just barely. And, if he doesn't get bored too soon, like he was riding broncs this summer just because he was bored, these guys nowadays, I mean, they got smartphones, and I'm not sure which is the smartest, but it's a little bit different, but it's still bull riding. But he could win. Yeah. He could win. And when I asked him that just the other day, he said, Al, I don't really want to win 8. He said, I want to win 10. He said, because you got robbed out of 1 anyway. And he said, so I want to make damn sure I beat you all the way. So,
all right.
You know what my answer is to him on that, Dan? Good luck.
Yes.
Do you know what winning 8 bull riding titles means? If you think you're going to win 9 or 10, you better have a sharp knife and a big, long, deep breath, because you got a lot of cutting to do. I'm going to say that's the record holder right there.
I do. I agree with that. Yep. Okay,
How
a lot
much
of these
did that
folks
cost?
A lot of these folks went.
Wow.
It'll pay later. It's that's gonna, yeah. A lot of these folks went to the rodeo tonight. In case some of you watched it on television on the big screen, Donnie and Joe were doing it live on CBS Sportsnet, but they're going to do it live for you here. This is it's getting interesting out there, isn't it? Round 4 is now in the books. So much money at stake, gentlemen. If you'll do it live, here we go.
Bareback riding. Well, everybody knows Casey Field, 4-time champ of the world, and he is just riding like a house of fire. This guy just rides bucking horses, and you wonder if he's ever going to weaken. But he can ride, and he's got some competition. If he draws good, he's going to score a lot of points. You watch him spur bucking horses. Look at this. I mean, you watch the horse. He sets his feet. He waits on that animal, gets in position. Both spurs coming back to the rig, and that's picture perfect. He's 84 points. But, these guys, it's unbelievable. That's Casey. The other one's Stephen Peebles. Both of them. And Peebles, if he stays healthy, he's crippled nearly every time I look this summer, he's hurt. This guy, I don't think you can hurt him. 84 points. Let's not talk about the judges. But anyway.
Oh, let's.
I'll just hold that thought, because I watch it, and when we get to the bronc riding, I really get sick. But how about the timed events? Steer wrestling, I know it's been awesome.
The best is being Dakota. This horse, he and Luke Brancarino probably won $600,000 in the last 3 years. Dakota does what's hard to do. He gets a great start, but look how close. He's awfully tight to this steer. Now, look at the Hazer, Sean Mulligan. See him pick his reins up and give him some room. If he stays tight and he keeps mashing on him, Dakota doesn't catch that steer, or he catches him so tight, he's got to stand up and then throw him down. A Hazer is most important here. Dakota made a great run, but Mulligan was on top of it. In the team roping, if you put this guy over the chute, Clay O'Brien said in the interview, I was having trouble keeping up. Bull! Watch the champ. The champ, he just jerks his rope up real cool, gets him one swing off. Derek Begay, you can't get it on him any faster than that. 0.5, he's turning him. The champ whips it down there, and here's what he likes to do. Watch him pull. Come back to me. Day money win. And if you watch him ride out of the arena, first time he ever smiled.
All right, well, you shouldn't have watched that 2.7 when it looked like it was tight to me, but saddle bronc riding, Rusty Wright. Here's a kid that just gets out of high school. Check it out. He is riding bucking horse. That horse is called Pilot Point. Had him going right there at the whistle. They didn't dock him many points. He's 85 and a half, but everybody likes Rusty Wright. I saw him get Cody DeMoss at the gate tonight in the bronc riding. Missed his horse out, wins the day money last night, trying to win a world title. And I saw 4 or 5 markouts that looked just like that.
Or
they
worse,
didn't get got.
Worse tonight.
It needs instant replay.
Oh, tie down
It needs
roping.
instant replay.
Here is when you got pressure. Sterling Smith goes up tonight, looks at the draw. Whoop, whoop, first round, Trevor Brazil, 6'8". you know you got to win something. He makes a great run tonight. What wins this roping for him? Watch his first swing. It's down and pointed. He ropes him. You have got to stand him up. He takes a big hit right there, but when he does, that calf is right down on his knees, right back up. This is about as nice a run as you can make to be 7.2. Down with a wrap mahui. You're supposed to win on that calf. Trevor won the first round. Great run? No, this is a great run. Cade swore they tied his calf in 9. He pops him around. He's big and strong. Watch this. He puts the full Monty on him. 2 wraps in a hui, 7-2. Now, that split to go around, but Cade swore this is the best run of the national finals so far, besides Marty Yates' second run. Watch how far down the arena. Here's where he wins. Watch the calf's front end. When he hits him, he's got him half flanked right there. Great run, 2 7-2s. Cade swore, Sterling Smith kept the pace fast, split to go around win. We're seeing a new Cade swore. How about the barrel racing? This girl is going at him. It would take a seatbelt and a pair of handcuffs for me to get on that roan horse. There's nobody else could ride her like she does. She kicks, kicks, kicks. She quits, she squeezes, she ooches, and then she just about outruns him out of the arena. But she wins the day money doing it. Sarah Rose puts it on him.
All right, we had Joe Frost on here. He said, let me just come be on your show because we see, well, you know, they're winning go-round. Well, he just jumps right out. Bell ringer. Hadn't had a qualified ride on this bull all year long. Joe Frost puts a great ride on him. There's a kid that came here last year, 3 for 3, everything going his way, 1 second average. He was 0 for 3. You know, had a lot of mental pressure that he puts on himself because he bucked off of 3 in a row, jumps right back out there, 85.5. He's back in the ball game. You know, with the bull riders, they were a little scared tonight, and they rode more, they rode better. So I'm thinking, you know, just right. The bull rider's going to be okay.
But we keep saying, if you come on this show the next night, you're going to win the go-around.
You know.
What more can we say? To say that we ain't lucky, people know better than that.
Give him a hand. Good job, guys. Nicely done there. Okay, you're sending in some good questions. So let's do the second one first for Joe here. Joe, they want to know what was the call when the calf, boy, it looks like Donnie's spelling, doesn't it?
Well, it's supposed to have spell check.
Hey, it looks like it's texting, that's for sure.
That's exactly right, yeah. Cafe,
was caught, C-O-U-G-H-T. This is Donnie.
When I was talking about the smartphone, it's not so damn smart.
What was the call when the calf was caught without a rope?
Hunter Heron, if you watch the rodeo tonight, he ropes his calf around the top of the head, figure eight's a leg. The rules state quite clearly that the rope has to be touching the calf when you touch the calf. You don't have to have your hands on him anywhere but somewhere to touch him, then you can flank him. As it was coming off, we were on TV, and Jeff said, you know, what about that? You could tell it was going to be a no time. You could see Joe Bob Locke was riding around him, and he was talking to him the whole time with his flag up. When he was talking to him, Hunter looked up once like, oh, I didn't want to hear that. And then he realized he didn't have the rope on the calf. That's going to cost Hunter Heron a big chance for his first gold buckle because it's early in the week. We don't talk averages early, but that took him out of the average, took him out of contention for a world championship, and it was just about that far from touching, but the rope was off. Good call by the official, and I don't say that very often.
Well, another one that we have right here, since you mentioned that, said, how are the judges selected to work?
I think it's a raffle, and they just.
You ever heard that old rhyme? You ever heard that rhyme? 3 blind mice.
Yeah, you damn sure bet they don't let me and Donnie pick them.
I mean, you know, I look at the scores get posted. You know, you got 39, 40, 41, and this is all 4 judges supposed to be bull riders, old ones, you know, that can see, that's been on one that could remember, and then the other one's 32. My butt. You can't be 32.
Hey, I'm not a judge, right?
That's
but
ridiculous.
I've seen a lot of this go. So during the bareback riding, Alan Jordan, which flags the steer wrestling, he sits beside me. So I mark him. I'm trying to figure, get to where I can figure this out better. And I'll be 48, 38, whatever we do. And I'm always within a point or two of all the judges except one. And he'll be 36. And I'm like, Alan, he says, don't ask me. I'm just a judge. That's a judge down there, Donnie.
Well, the problem is used to, before Wrangler Pro Rodeo officials and everybody being professional, You could
Say that
go. You
lightly.
could go to the judge and you could ask him his opinion. And if he gave you his opinion, that's okay, because that's what they're hired for. Now, sometimes I worry that these guys are on full-time payroll. They have to go to all these meetings, and I don't know who instructs them and don't care. They have to watch film. You don't learn how to judge by watching film. You learn the rule book. But if they want to keep their job, to pay their taxes to be able to pay for Obamacare and all that crap, so... they got to have a check, so I think it's real hard on them. I really do. I really do. I don't think you get the straight scoop anymore.
But let's answer the question. How do they get selected?
3 blind mice. I already told you. Hell, I did that right off the bat.
That's official then. All right.
We're just going to leave it at that, and that way they got an out.
Okay. All right, just checking. We appreciate the question. Someday it'll get answered, but I appreciate you sending it up here to us. Let's bring out our first guest. Shall we do this? Everybody, Donnie and I, you're just a turd, isn't he? Everybody wants to be a team roper, don't they? Donnie and I, and then this guy, Joe Beaver, and our first guest.
It's the real deal.
The real deal. This young man, and I say that because I was looking up, he's still a very young man,
He's from?
Nevada,
The great state of
three-time
Nevada.
world champion healer Jade Cork is here tonight. Would you welcome him?
Whenever he said everybody wants to be a team roper, he's looking right at me. I'm thinking,
Welcome, Jade.
Thank you.
It's so good to have you here with us here this evening. That has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? 3-time world champion healer. And boy, you and Clay, go ahead, Joe.
Well, it's not as nice as 4-time. And that's how this week started. Came in the lead, pulled off an unbelievable shot the first night, and then things kind of slipped away a little bit to get to that 4th title. Where are we at right now?
We're still in the lead, I guess, right now. I mean, the average obviously is going to play into it, but the one thing that I do know now that I'm old is this rodeo goes back and forth all the time, and if you panic, when it's over with, hindsight, you're always mad that you panic. So I'm just going to kind of just do what I'm supposed to do, play it day to day, and not do anything that they don't force me to do.
And what I said, too, earlier, watching y'all's run tonight and stuff, you still got to go back. There's so much money this year that little bit of lead you got means a lot. I mean, you can figure the average, and like Donnie and I say all the time, the average doesn't figure till Saturday night. We've seen teams come in just had to catch to win the average and drop that steer down. So these guys aren't in near bad a position as everybody wants to make it like because of the fact of 6 more go-rounds, $150,000, $80,000 left. Your game plan doesn't change. Y'all came here to win.
Yeah, that's one thing that you can get caught up in pretty easy because it does mean something, but as far as tonight goes, the average money is just an imaginary number, really, because it could happen. I mean, I could win the average still.
Right.
There's a possibility of it. You know what I mean? So the actual day money that we get tonight, that's really the only thing that, that I try to pay attention to until it gets closer to the end, and then who has, X amount of steers caught and who doesn't. So there's so many things that you have to think about, but at the end of the day, all we really know for sure is that we have to make good runs. We have to catch to win. So that's all I'm trying to do.
you would hate to be driving home on Sunday and to think that you beat yourself, because all these other guys, they want what you already have, and to me, with $26,000 go rounds and 5-6 more $26,000 rodeos, as good as everybody ropes and as fast as everybody can rope, you want to go. Winners find a way to win. That's why you already 3-time world champion, and so all those other guys, they might want to go ahead and start panicking a little bit, but y'all don't have to.
Winners find a way to win. Do we have the first round by any
We
chance?
do. The first one's
okay,
racked.
I want y'all to look at the first round.
Joe, let's do tonight's first.
Okay.
We have
All right.
tonight's ready.
You talk about tonight. I'm going to talk about the first round. You tell them what went on tonight.
Tonight we had a pretty good steer. It was the one that JoJo and Junior had the first night. And I changed horses, or that is the first round, I guess.
That's the first round. That's the shot that I was talking about.
There you go.
That's what a winner does, and that's why he has so many gold buckles. When Clay threw, that horse was quick and got out of there hard. Now watch this steer. He kind of kicks his head back, and he's going to come around and look like it's going to be a day off. The big hop's coming, but it doesn't. It's a skip and a hit, and Jade has to change his swing. Look how far out there that steer is, people. Have you ever backed up and roped a heading dummy from that far back? Hell, I got 3 legal head catches, don't always catch a heading dummy. That's heading the feet right there. That's what world champions do, and that's why I keep saying it's the beginning of a dynasty. I'm telling you, I watched Speed and Rich, I watched Jake and Clay, and I watched Clay and Jade, and they can win in any kind of condition. That's what you're talking about, winners find a way to win.
I mean, that looked like, the smart play would have been to try to kick up and take one more swing. But, I mean, you just went ahead and just roped 2 feet from way the heck downtown.
Well, that's one thing I've been trying to work on doing is I've tried my whole life just to do what I'm supposed to do or do the right thing and not take, stupid shots or do something that didn't make any sense. But then there's times where something like this happens to where, if that's what the right thing is to do, then that's what you need to do and be confident when you do it. And that's the only way. Second guessing yourself is what seems like makes everything go bad. So if you, like right there, I seen a spot where I knew I could catch him, and even though it wasn't ideal, I tried to make myself do it.
It was ideal for you.
I mean,
with your
cool,
talent, yeah, it was ideal. Do we got to have tonight?
Yeah, let them get that racked up back there, Joe. What I was going to say, to me, this has been the most competitive, this team roping here at the finals the last couple of years by a bunch.
Yeah, I think last year there was 6 no times in the first round, and there's probably not 6 no times almost total right now.
But the thing that I keep saying, and it's going to help, there's a couple guys. One steer down is going to win money in average. We know that. We went to 2 loops a few years ago. A lot of no times they place an average on 8 steers, 9 steers, whatever. But if you keep making runs like y'all made tonight, you keep making good runs, you keep winning, that little bit of that lead, those guys have to catch that lead and then win more to beat you off the gold buckle. And if you're winning every night, you get a little average check too. They can't keep you from winning.
Well, that's one thing I try to keep in my mind too is I know what it feels like when I'm roping, and I know how hard it is out there. So, when they're making good runs or doing whatever, it's also that hard for them. And there's a certain point where I feel like runs like we made tonight, you can, as long as the hitter gets a good start, you can make those type of runs, and you might win third, you might win first, you might not place, but as long as you get a time, you fight another day. But the fast 3-second runs are hard to make, very consistent.
Yes, they are.
And so, if guys are doing it and they're catching and where you're winning third, well, if you win third every night, then, most of the time, eventually it's, somebody's bound to mess up. And I'm going to try to just not, like Donnie was saying, just not take myself out of it, give myself a chance.
Have they started the reruns on the steer?
Tonight.
First one,
The
yeah.
first
That's
time
what they
to do
said.
it?
JoJo had to
I
steer
think
that
if
same
we've
as
got
the calves or
tonight's,
whatever.
let's run
Yeah, we got
tonight's
3
if you
pins,
guys
steers.
have that racked up back there from tonight's performance. Let's see.
It's not I switched horses. I got back on my horse Caveman that I haven't rode him here for, I guess, 4 years. 2011 is the last time I rode him here. He kind of stays hurt, but.
And why did you change, Jay?
Well, just because of, not necessarily for any reason other than there was, something wasn't working, whether it was me or, as a whole, we just weren't. I was bound to miss one doing what we were doing on the first 2 steers I threw
Look
at.
how easy this looks for them. And they're 4-1. Yeah, I didn't win first, but that run looked easy. So in other words, they're not in a bind being 4-1 or 4 flat or 3-8 or 3-9. And if you do that continually, it's going to be good at the end, like you said. But what you just said, people don't understand. They said tonight, on TV, the first question was we opened the show, well, what about Tough Cooper? How's he going to get out? I said, hey, I don't care if you change horses, if you change ropes, if you change underwear, if you change something. If it's not working, if you've won as much as Tough Cooper and you get to the third go-around and you hadn't won anything, change something. And that's just like you said, hey, I'm not saying it's a horse, I'm not saying it was me, but tonight, a change, and it felt good and it worked.
Joe Frost told me last night, third one in a row that had bucked him off. And and he hadn't experienced that. He said, can I come to the show and just visit with you guys? Yep. And I said, yeah.
Well,
so
that's why I got him tonight, because I already had somebody booked tomorrow night. That means a day money tomorrow night after you do this show,
I'll take it.
When you were here with us a couple of years ago, Jade, and I still remember this moment because you just said, I just believe in my heart I'm the best healer in the world. And
I think my partner said that. Surely it wasn't me.
Clay was here with
But
you.
the only reason
No,
Donnie, if Donnie healed that good, he'd say that, you know. But Jade, he's just too nice a guy to say it.
There ain't
but it's a
nothing
fact.
wrong with saying that.
No,
dude.
it's
Just go ahead and
because
tell, you know, but it is
a
better
fact.
to it's fact, and you've shown them 3 times, so that is better. Yep. But yeah, Joe and I would go ahead and say it, but you know, we
Well, he and
all the
Clay were
time
both
anyway.
here that night. What amazes me, Jade, is throughout the course of the year, how many rodeos did you guys go to this year?
I think we got to 73.
So it's just, again, I was talking with somebody today, it's that 1/10 of a second at each one, or 2/10 of a second, that still these guys rise to the top, and it's an amazing thing, Jade.
Well, that seems like it's even the 1/10 of a second come into play even more now than ever. And as far as my career goes, just you know, like rounds like tonight, and was it the second round maybe that was so tough? Yep. You might be 4 flat and win the day money, and you might be 4-2 and split last or not even place. You know, so there's.
I say it all the time, and you know what I'm talking about. When you get through team rope and you get your ropes and you ride out the end of the moat, the end of the arena, and there's a television down there at the end, used to be, I don't know if you could watch or whatever, and if you were 4-1 or 2, you stopped. You were going to watch because you knew you were going to win first or second. Now, if you're 4-2 or 3, you might as well ride on by the TV because you're not going to win first or second. It's a guarantee. And that just goes to show how far the team roping has advanced with guys like this, young guys coming along, worked at it all their life, got tons of ability with the rope, buying the better horses now. And team roping is about like the barrel race. It's one of the toughest events in the rodeo.
How many horses do you have that you're confident to ride and rope on at this level, at the NFR or the big rodeo year round? How many horses do you have on standby that's basically ready to go?
I've got 11 or 12 right now that you know, just that I use for practicing and little jackpots and stuff like that. And the ones that I ride the same 2 right now pretty much all the time. I've got a couple that I ride, you know, when I need to periodically, but I try to use like practicing for me is got to the point where it's not really like practicing. The actual practicing for me is the smaller jackpots that we go to that, you know, that nobody even knows about, that, you know, when you put up money and there's a flagger and a barrier and actual teams there, that's a lot different than practicing. So that's kind of my practice, and then testing what horses, you know, what I got and what they're weak at.
You practice winning.
He is a winner. And it is a difference, isn't it? You can go run 50 at home and run 10 at the jackpot or 10 little rodeos, and it tells the tale.
Yeah, I think, it's so much different and even when you know it, it's still a lot different. You can tell yourself whatever you want at home, but when you go put up your money, you do, you know, probably subconsciously do things different, and your horses feel different, and you know, you got to get them exposed to, which is just like the horse at Tough Road the other night. That's one of the best calf horses in the world, and I've seen him go for 5 or 6 years, and I've never seen him mess up.
Second loop, probably never felt it before, you know, different deal.
Well, it's a pleasure watching each night, Jade, and these guys are on their way, I believe, to their 4th World Championship, and I'm glad you made time to come out here with us.
I appreciate it.
It's very...
Round of applause, because, you know, these guys make time to come and give y'all a little insight. They're pretty busy out here.
Awesome.
Great interview. Jade Cork.
Yeah.
Good interview.
You know, and when he was talking, Joe, you were about the young Travis Woodard has made a couple of heel shots here too that just staggering. Just. But when he came in tonight, you were talking about the steers. I wish you could be in the back there when these guys first come in, because they make a beeline to Joe to talk about what happened tonight. But you touched on the steers. Would you say again what you were talking about?
These guys, when they heel this good at this level, it's like Patrick getting legged the other night, and I said something about Trevor not having a good dally. You know, these guys that heel at Jade and Pat and all these guys level, if that steer turns and he makes a complete turn and he hops away straight, they're not going to miss. They miss for a reason. And we talked about, Jade and I were talking about, you know, he said, I just felt like I had a good cut the other night. Well, Clay hooked it on that steer, and if you watch a video and get to watch a replay, that steer turned. But when that steer turned and his butt hit, Jade was getting ready to come with it where he thought he should be going, and Clay's horse got a little weak or running a little rope or whatever he did, but that steer went from hopping this way to his head going down the arena. So he hopped actually away from Jade. So all Jade can see or have any chance to catch is an outside leg, because the inside leg of the steer is going away. And that's caused by the head horse not turning and pulling. Just like Trevor the other night. Patrick turned in, and he said when he threw, he said all he could see was that one leg. Well, Trevor was kind of humped up on the horn right there, didn't have a real good dally, so when he hit that steer, he gave a step forward. When he did, he turned his head, and then he gave his head back to him. So there's a reason. These guys that heel this good, if they rope a leg or miss, 9 times out of 10, and I'm the header, you blame yourself. You look at yourself, you've caused your partner to rope a leg.
Outstanding, Joe. Outstanding.
How long do you have to mess up before they point that out to you?
Usually it's fast, but if not, I try to always help Pat out, and if I get anything on Trevor, I point it out. So as I was telling Trevor all this bad stuff the other night in the film room we were watching, everybody gets out, leaves. He's the last person to always go get off the great entry, and he says, "You enjoy that?" I said, "Yeah, I kind of did, really." He said, "Don't you know he's a number 20 back there? He's supposed to catch regardless." And I said, "Yeah, but nobody could have caught that steer." He said, "That'll be enough out of you tonight. Tomorrow night when I come, you go down the hall."
I love it. Let's bring this next young man out as well here. He was going to come last night, but a victory got in the way.
26,000 and a buckle.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like this young man. I like his family. He always makes time for us, and I appreciate that. He's a 2012 world champion bull rider. Cody Teal is here tonight. Cody, come on out here, young
Hello,
man.
Texas.
There by Joe, yep. Welcome, Cody. It's good to have you here. Really good to have you here. And this guy is, I don't know how much money you've won so far, but you're doing pretty darn well.
Well, I appreciate it. It's always good to get to come here and be on stage with these guys and like you said, talk about winning. It's always fun.
We don't do losing here. We do winning here.
Exactly right. And we may as well, we started talking about judges. We started it in the back, and it was one of those nights. Let's talk about last night first. Outstanding. You won the round here. You've covered 3 so far.
Yes.
Tell us about this NFR for you so far.
It's been great so far. 3 out of 4. It'd be nicer to have that other one knocked out, but at the same time, it's been great. I had history with that bull last night. That was the 4th time I had been on him, and he kind of had me bobbling there at the beginning, but it all worked out. And
Bobbled?
Yeah.
Hell, you had you bucked off, and you got back on, and I still don't know how you did it. What a great ride last night. Run that, whenever that finishes, just do that again. And we got a slow motion of this.
There you go.
Talk us through that.
Well, I can't really repeat what I was thinking to myself right there. It was just kind of that Hail Mary move that I've gotten.
You
good
see
at.
where his butt was? It was out in the air. It wasn't even touching the bull.
Yeah, but what do you always say? If you don't think you're bucked off, you're not bucked off. He didn't think he was.
This is true. That's got to be partially it.
I wasn't quite ready to come down.
The score on that, gentlemen, what did they give you, 73?
No, that was last night's go-round. So that was, a lot of points. First place.
This was 86 and a half?
86 and a half, yeah. And that's a bull everybody wants to get on, but at the same time, if you stump your toe, he'll sure enough put you on the ground, and you don't want to be that guy, and I was last year in the 10th round here.
In the 10th round, he walked you like a
I'm glad you've already had him. Let them other ones have him now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
luck,
Got that out of the way.
Yeah, but that's one of those things. His butt's out in the air. That's what you call magic ass. Just poof. Or maybe you don't call. I don't know. But you made a heck of a ride, and tonight we got. It's not really an eliminator pin, but it's a pin of bulls that have at least an 85 or better buck-off percentage. Like, I don't hardly ever go look at pro bull stats and stuff, but
it's racked, Donnie. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one
go
while
ahead,
you're talking
go
about
ahead and roll the ride. This bull belongs to my dad, Red Rum. He is kind of an eliminator. He's been ridden 2 times now, counting this ride tonight. It's a fight to stay out from going in the well, and I know that, and I'm gonna get you to talk about it. But I just wanted to set this up to the fact that these bulls get turned out most of the time at rodeos unless there's a lot of money up. He's a bull you don't want to get on. Cody Teal rode him tonight. The other time he's been ridden in 2 years, Cody Teal rode him at the circuit finals.
Yes, sir.
2 places that you just really can't turn one out, and he rode him both places, and for one of the judges to mark that 32 points. I just want to beat my head on the floor. That's crazy. I mean, it's just crazy. Okay, one more time and let him talk. I'll be quiet.
Take his mic. He said he'd be quiet.
No, you're right. That bull, he's a handful. You just got to stay small on him, and you got, for me, being a taller guy, I have to turn my toes out and stay square on him, and just kind of wait on him to do what he does, because you can tell he's kind of wanting me in there the whole time, and I'm kicking loose with the outside foot, and just trying basically let him do his thing, and I counter move to it, because he's real smart, and you can see he's trying to drop me in there the whole time, and he's good at getting people on the ground.
And he's mean. What he wants to do is drop you in there and then punch the wax out of your ears. But watch the bullfighters when the whistle blows. But watch this. Now, see, you got to ride good enough to protect yourself. Bullfighter turks it back the other way, gives him a chance to step off another day at the office. Round of applause for world champion, world-class guy. But you just saw two different kind of bull rides. One, spotlight, and one where winners just find a way to win. Everybody else, he's the only guy that's rode that bull. Everybody else has bucked off. They don't like him. Judges will one of them like him 32, but he's the only one that's rode him.
Here's what I want to ask. Okay, if you're a judge, doesn't the degree of difficulty have something to do with that ride? How can you mark somebody that low on a bull that's been ridden one other time that's that nasty?
If I mark him that low, he got an option for a re-ride.
There you go.
Now, he probably wouldn't have took the re-ride at this stage.
No, but then you wouldn't have looked so stupid being the judge.
Thank you very much. Oh, I said I was going to be quiet.
No, yeah, I mean, you're right. I probably wouldn't have took the re-ride. I mean, you look at the scores, and there was that one that was just way lower. But, for me, it's just getting scores at this point. And, that bull there, he's hard to get by. And to get by him, for the second time, I feel pretty good about it. And I feel real sharp being here. And, I can sit here and say I'm just taking it one bull at a time, like I always do. But I want another gold buckle, and that's what I'm on a mission for. And with all the money added here this year, that's what...
You hear that?
I have some ground to make up, but
he said, I want another gold buckle. He didn't say he wanted to ride a bull.
Guess what? There ain't nobody else covered 3. No. And that's not added pressure, because he wants to have ridden 4. But he knows how many more, and he's been here before. Now, there's 4 or 5 guys that are over that haven't been here, and it's driving them crazy. And you can talk about the atmosphere and, that.
You're exactly right. And, there's just so much more, whether you want to try to deny it or not, but there's just so much more added pressure here. You got all your peers and people you've looked up to your whole life. Everyone's watching this. And I think that was the biggest thing for me to get over, is just, forget about that. And, I still get, my motor's running more here than anywhere else, but I'm at the point now where I love it. I'm eating it up and I'm feeling it, but there's not a better feeling when you feel that feeling and you go be successful and you step off on your feet. That's the most rewarding feeling ever, and I live for that. I live for it. I love it. That winning feeling there.
And let's read it one more time. 3 for 4.
Yes.
He's on the right path, and he's ridden a nasty one and a bucking son of a gun. So it doesn't matter what they run in there now. His mindset, he's going.
And he wants to win a world title. He's already, but he'll say it. There's some other guys in there want to win a world title, but they don't say it. If you don't put your goals out there and believe it enough to say it, it's not going to happen. You're not going to back up into this. I mean, him, Sage Kimsey, there's still a couple other guys that, can make some noise, but they're going to have to come riding. But it's anybody's ball game, but you play just like the fellow that just walked out of here that's won 3 world titles. You're not going to beat yourself, and you're going to be ready no matter what. Good bull, hard bull, easy bull, doesn't matter. You're not going to beat yourself, and I think that's because the way you were raised. And
where your parents
Robbie
at, point
Teal
them
and
out there.
family and girlfriend, y'all
Let's
all
get a
stand
camera
up right
over
down
here,
there.
Travis.
Front row, stand
and
up, Robbie. Y'all
There's
get up.
folks right here. Yes,
this
indeed.
is how if you want to know how to raise a kid, go ask Robbie Teal.
Yeah. Donnie, I just got Reed Barker did not ride tonight, so would you fill us in on his injury from last night? Do you guys know how he's...
Reed, yeah, I mean, and he's up. He said, man, they about killed me last night. And I said, yeah, that bull. He went, no, at the hospital. And I went, what are you talking about? He goes, man, they gave me 3 shots of morphine, and then Gosh, I hadn't even got that down, and he said I was getting real dizzy, and then they come in and give me about 3 shots of Percocet or something, and I'm going, holy cow. But he broke his scapula, got something else kind of cracked back there, but he's going to be fine. I mean, that's like a shoulder blade.
I love it.
All he was interested in is what they were giving him. If we can't find Donnie tomorrow night, we'll just go down to the hospital.
I thought you made eggs with a scapula. Is that the different? I love it when Donnie talks medicine. It's very technical.
It's like his texting. When he gets into them big words like that, it just gets confusing.
Spatula, whatever, he lost out on that. Cody, you're still just 23 years old, right? Yeah. So he won his world title when he was 20. There's a lot of world titles left in this young man, and I like him. Every time we call, he comes out here and shows up, and he's a quality young man and a great bull rider. Cody Teal, would you give him a hand here this evening? Awesome.
That's fun on a night to have 2 young champions like that, isn't it? It says a lot for the future of rodeo right there.
I mean, it's alive and well, but what good role models, for guys that, even for a few of the guys that's in the locker room that's qualified for this rodeo, they need role models like that.
Did you notice when you and I stepped down a step, Donnie stayed up there?
I was going to say.
That's how, boy, I am feeling good.
This is how it was that night with that box, Dan, right here. When it's his idea, he stayed up there. When it was theirs, he told him to go to hell.
Go back up
I wasn't
there,
going to get on the box.
Go back up there, and Joe and I will go all the way down. Now,
yeah, we'll stay down here. Now he's feeling really good.
Come on up, Joe.
Watch him get that spatula scapula out.
I think they're made of Teflon now, yeah. I want to bring these gentlemen out because this is the night we're going to have this discussion. Every night we're getting this question, but I want to get these two out here before we start it. So would you welcome the best at what they do? Bob Tallman, Boyd Polhamus are here this evening. Gentlemen,
y'all might
would
want
you
to
come
open
on
a beer
out?
for this.
Hey, Boyd.
Yes, sir.
Can I pay you to be on my side for a minute? I need help.
I know, but the problem was I was sitting back there with Bobby T, and I'm going, I want to help Donnie. And he butchered scapula. Okay? But I can help him here. The other bone that he broke, now say it with me slowly, is a rib.
Hey, I even knew that, but I wasn't going to dare say it after that.
Enunciate it with me. Rib.
I got it.
Okay, the other thing is a second ago you were talking about the judges, and you were like, just makes me want to beat my head on the floor. And I was like, you know what, Bobby T, I'd pay money to watch Donnie beat his head on the floor. So me and Bobby pulled it up together. We got $20. Beat your head.
I can do that myself.
He's only got to fall 2 foot 3 inches to get it done.
I missed that. I'm glad I did.
He said you didn't have to fall far to hit your head. That was what he was saying.
He said 2 foot 3 inches is all farther you had to fall.
Just remember, it's a blessing to be your height. Okay? You're the last to get rained on. And the first to smell a fart in an elevator.
And when you're nose to nose, your toes are in it. When you're toes to toes, your nose are in it.
So all you got to do is you just got to...
you better get to the question fast.
You just got to be like a scorpion.
And not fast enough.
I was just pulling the visual on Boyd's deal. Now I got it, yeah.
So was that screaming kid that just run up that and he's gone.
I told you, it's prepping.
I'm coming with you.
Same
Bobby
size.
T used to tell me all the time we'd bump into a little short girl that was shiny. I said, Bobby, she's shiny, but she's short. He'd look at me and go, kid, we're all the same height laying down.
Pull the covers up, turn the lights off, go for it.
No. Gentlemen, I want to do this tonight.
The one thing about announcing that I haven't learned is how to make up stuff as good as y'all.
Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah,
As
you
good
do.
as y'all.
I want to do this tonight. Everybody take your shirts off. No, I want to do this. every night we have had this question, gentlemen, so we have waited for you guys to be here when we had some time. And so every night this question comes in and we've put it off. We say, no, let's wait on that. Tonight we're gonna talk about this. And it is the white elephant in the room, the 1,000-pound gorilla in Las Vegas. We're talking about the ERA. It says, what effect will the ERA have on rodeo in general and the PRCA? So, I know you've all collected your thoughts. Boyd is chomping at the bit right there. So,
Okay. I want to do this uninterrupted because I know Bobby and both Donnie will have stuff to add to this. Okay. First of all, let's look at this first from the prism of the PRCA. Okay. Let's look.
And even before that, clarify, Boyd, what it is, because some people may not.
The Elite Rodeo Association is a group of elite cowboys, big name cowboys. You know most of them. I mean, they're several-time world champions, and part of their motivation is that they weren't like Donnie Gay, and they don't want to be like Donnie Gay. They don't want to go to 125 rodeos a year. Okay.
Sissies.
Okay. But they want to make more money at fewer events. And they feel like that they put in the time and their name recognition will draw fans, not just to Las Vegas, but maybe they'll draw them to Kansas City. Maybe they'll draw them to Dallas. Maybe they'll draw them to other places. And they would like to have an opportunity to guarantee a venue that you're not going to see somebody you don't know. You're only going to see somebody that you do know. And the somebody that you do know is a big name, okay? Very much like what we have in the city of Las Vegas during the National Finals Rodeo. So the ERA was essentially, and then they reached out to several rodeo committees and said, listen, if you'll just host one night of one of our events, your event will be a qualifying event to our finals in Dallas, to which the state of Texas has given them, supposedly, at least as what I read, $3.5 million to have a finals in Dallas, okay? And what they were going to do is they were going to go out and go to the multi-performance rodeos that are out there, anywhere from 5 to 30 performances, whether it's Fort Worth or Dodge City, and say, hey, give us one perf. We will bring you Trevor, Bobby Moat, Tuff Cooper, Luke Brank. We'll bring you the biggest names for that one perf. You put up a bunch of money, and we'll show up for that, but you'll be a qualifying event for our finals in Dallas, okay? So, again, folks, I'm not a member of the ERA. I'm just going on what I've read, okay? This is all public knowledge if you read as much as I read, and I read way too much, okay? The PRCA stands there and they say, listen, we went and we got you double the money at the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas. We added $1 million to the circuit finals, the Ram National Circuit Finals, and we also made the circuit finals in every circuit better because we took some of the money we negotiated through Las Vegas and we're spreading it out there. We've had the Wrangler Champions Challenge where it's a limited deal where only the top 12 in the world get the chance to go and nobody else can ride for that money, but that money still counts for the NFR. And so if you're the PRCA, you're like, man, what am I doing wrong here? I mean, I got you double the money at the finals. I'm giving you standalone events and money here. And so the PRCA, to a certain extent, is like, why are you fighting me? I tried to help you. You're the elite are the only ones that get to go to the Wrangler Champions Challenge. I missed something here. Prior to us coming out here, the elite announced that they would no longer participate in the Wrangler Championship Challenges, okay? And they would no longer participate in the cinch shootouts, okay? They said, we're throwing our sucker down. We're only going to go, if we go somewhere other than a normal PRCA rodeo, the only place we're going to go is to an elite rodeo event so as to make the Wrangler Championship Challenges that the PRCA is underwriting or the cinch shootouts that cinch is underwriting. We're not going to go to those. The only way you're going to see us is if you see us at an elite rodeo event. Okay. That's their business model. The problem is, at this juncture, to my knowledge, I don't know of any place that is an existing PRCA rodeo that has said, okay, or even a Houston that's not a PRCA rodeo, or a Calgary, that's not a PR, that said, okay, we'll have an elite rodeo event. We'll take one of our 10 in Calgary or one of our 20 in Houston. We'll make it an elite rodeo event. So they're, to my knowledge, they didn't threaten the PRCA, and this is where I think the PRCA made a mistake. Okay, I think the PRCA overreacted to the potential that the ERA might go somewhere else. And so they then passed rules that they're now going to have to be in a lawsuit to defend. Okay. What effect will the ERA have on the sport of professional rodeo? Let me get to something that is so widely known within the industry, and you probably know it, but I'm about to say it in a way where you'll probably get it. The great white elephant in the room is the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas, Nevada. Whether it's the Wrangler National Finals, the Ram National Finals, the Coors National Finals, the National Finals Rodeo is $10 to $12 million. If you want to be elite, you got to get here. The Elite Rodeo Association is going to have a $3.5 million finals. Now, if you got to go, I wonder if I'm going to go to that Wrangler Champions Challenge where if I'm Seth Hardwick, the bareback rider, I largely made my trip here based upon my performances at those Champions Challenges. Yeah. So if you want to remain elite, you got to get here for 4 times the money that you're going to get in Dallas. So if I'm the PRC, I just kind of hold my hand over my mouth and laugh a little bit at the fact that they're even. Here's the other thing. With no disrespect to Cowboys, okay? But you're used to showing up, running your rosin your rope, finding your bull, you're a rodeo producer, so this is a bad example using you, but maybe more so Joe. But Joe produces ropings too. But the fact of the matter is when you produce a rodeo versus at just competing at one, it's a big difference. So now we're going to ask guys who are used to pulling up, running their one head in slack, running their second head in the show, whatever the case is, and now you got to go out and meet and greet, shake hands, kiss babies. You got to go meet sponsor A, sponsor B, sponsor C. You got to stay around. You got to make sure the ambulance is there, the porta potties are there, that the insurance is paid. Producing a rodeo looks easy if you're just pulling up and competing at it, and I don't mean that as any disrespect. It just, no one understands that without the volunteer labor of a rodeo committee, without those hours and hours of labor that we never pay minimum wage for, without that committee going, you know what, I'll invest the seed capital. I'll risk my money, and if it doesn't work, I'll go to the banker, and me and the other rancher and the other businessmen in town who are putting this rodeo on will go to the bank and borrow the money to make it good in case it doesn't sell enough tickets to pay for it or doesn't raise enough sponsor dollars. And without that, the industry of professional rodeo, whether it's PRCA sanctioned, ERA sanctioned, anything else, is gone. It's gone. So all of us, what we all should do is go, how do we make the committee healthier fiscally? If we can make the committee healthier fiscally, then the committee is going to compete with other committees to get the best cowboys there. So if I give a committee Cinch money, Justin money, Wrangler money, Ariat money, and they got a lot of money, they're going to go, Bobby T, I want Luke Branquino here. What do I got to do? Add 20,000 to the steer wrestling. Bobby T, he'll be here. So then they take that money, they add 20,000. All of a sudden, Luke shows up, and they're happy as can be. Okay, because that's all they want at their rodeos, and Donnie can attest to this. From Corpus Christi to Gladewater, they just want the best in the world to come there. To answer the question on that screen, what effect will the ERA have on the PRCA or the National Finals Rodeo? At this juncture, none. Because they got nothing to hang their hat on, really, for the most part, other than their finals. They don't have any that I know of, unless somebody could prove me wrong, events that have said, yes, we will be an ERA event. We will give you a performance of our rodeo. They, to a certain extent, want to follow the cinch model. And the cinch model is to go in and grab a performance and make it a cinch event. But when cinch shows up, they'll give a committee anywhere from $80,000 to $120,000. When the ERA showed up, they said, okay, we're not giving you anything. We're not giving you anything except the biggest names in the business. Now you go raise the money. And it's not going to work the same way without somebody there to help fund it, okay? And in this case, in most cases, the PRCA is an assistant at the very least in helping rodeo committees try to do better. But for the most part, each individual venue, whether I can go through my list, I don't care if it's a big venue like Denver or Houston, and people think those rodeos are easy to sell tickets. It's Denver, it's Houston. That's bull. In Houston, you got to ride a tram in the rain for 20 miles in order just to get on the grounds. It's tough. Fort Worth is right downtown in the historic Will Rogers Coliseum. It's tough to get people to go, you know what? I got $30 to spend on entertainment. I'm going to spend that $30 on rodeo. Well, that's tough to do if it's tough to get to. And some of these places are tough to get to, but I'm digressing. The bottom line is, to the question that you've been putting off for forever, because I've been here for 3 nights and I've seen it too, is what effect will the ERA have on the PRCA? At this juncture, I don't think any, because they don't have any events other than the finals, and that somebody, and I can't remember who, went and looked up, wanted to buy tickets to the ERA finals in November at the American Airlines Center in Dallas, and they were $600 per person. $1,200 to go sit in a good seat. I'm sorry, but that's not our demographic. Our demographic is not going to. And as much as they love rodeo, they can't mortgage their kids' college fund to go watch the best in the world do it.
I just want to say this from the outside looking in, because that's where I am, and that's because every rodeo in the country is not San Antonio. It's not Fort Worth. It's not Denver. So from Cody, Wyoming, where I'm at, I fought hard to have you be the announcer there because I think you're the best announcer in the world. I fought hard to have Frontier there.
I agree with that.
I fought hard to have Frontier there because I think they're the best to come up there. My point is this: for Saturday, the 4th of July, and we don't run 12 nights. We don't run 24 performances. My point is this: I produced the last round of Cody for RFD TV, and Donnie did the television with me. In that final round, there was not one of the elite people in that. You couldn't get,
because it was just the final performance.
Final
July
performance.
4th,
but
with
yeah,
the celebration.
But my point is, Donnie, you couldn't get a ticket to it. This place
Right,
is sold out
right.
because Go ahead, Boyd.
Because people go to the rodeos outside of this one.
Yes.
Outside of this one.
This one is the Morphodite.
Yes. I wouldn't have said that.
Well, you can't even spell it, which is why I wouldn't have said
Okay, well, this is true. But the pure fact is you go to a rodeo. You don't go to see Trevor rope calves or Donnie ride bulls or Joe turn a steer or Boyd announce. You go to and buy a ticket, not get in free from somebody's companion pass, but go buy a ticket because you want to go to a good rodeo. And if it's sanctioned by the PRCA, that's the best full rodeo you're going to see.
As Roy Lemmel said to me about the Senate shootouts, he goes, "Hey, if they think I can't make Richie Champion, $1 million winner at the American, who's one Cheyenne, one Dodge City, if all the elite decide they're not going to come, if they think I can't make a champion out of Richie Champion, I can." But your point, Donnie, is so dead on. Let me, sorry. Oh, no, you're dead on, and I know I've never said that, which makes me want to hit my head on the floor. Okay. Let's both hit our head on the floor together. But his point is this. The Dodge City Roundup is Dodge City's high school football team. It's theirs. The Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo is the community of Fort Worth's rodeo. The Sydney, Iowa, it's their rodeo. That's and the reason it's supported isn't because Trevor and Bobby Moat and Cody Teal, who I love to death, or Sage Kimsey is there. They don't even know if they're going to be there. They just go because it's ours and it's good. And we've got one of the greatest rodeos in the country, and I'm supporting it because it's like my high school football team. Now, I would add one other thing, and this opens up a whole nother, I think that's sad, okay? I think our sport, to a certain extent, should be athlete-driven. It is driven in other sports by the athletes. It's driven in football. Come watch Aaron Rodgers go against Phillip Rivers or Tom Brady. Come watch Michael Jordan play against Larry Bird. It is driven, those other sports are driven by athletes, and I think to a certain extent, we failed the athlete by not making them more front and center. But at the same time, I say, you know, if you'd have told me Billy Ettbauer was going to be at the Dodge City Roundup at Thursday night, but I don't know that Billy's going to be there until 2.5 hours till the rodeo starts. He's entered, he's drawn a horse, but I don't know if Billy's coming. But if for 3 weeks, I could have told everybody in Dodge City, even those people who weren't coming to the rodeo in Dodge City because they had a family reunion or a class reunion or something that kept them from coming, that Billy Ettbauer is a 5-time world champion, a 20-time qualifier for the NFR. If they see Billy Ettbauer on an Energizer commercial for a battery, they know who he is because they heard me for 3 weeks telling everybody that Billy Ettbauer is a stud. Well, we don't do that in this sport because we can't bank on whoever we try to sell being not only in the performance, I mean, and Joe knows this, in order to win a world championship, you got to trade to the slack. You have to if you want to win. So in Fort Madison, Iowa, a rodeo that'll get 35,000 people, Tough will enter his dad, Roy, who still has a card, and will trade Roy to Saturday night. Roy has no intention of coming and roping at this rodeo. I end up with 3 tie-down ropers on Saturday night, so Tough can trade back to be in the slack. Why? That's the smartest and best move for Tough, and I can't fault him for making it, but I can fault our system for making it that way.
Go ahead, Bob.
30 years, we've been attached at the soul, not the hip, in him. You started to give him a round of applause for his deliberation. You need to understand something. I'm the oldest here. By a lot. 17 years between him and I.
Tell you they make up stuff.
You need to understand something here. I wanted to be a cowboy. Being a champion, when you're a kid and win amok at 12 years old, you don't think about it. But I met Dean Oliver. I met Harry Charters. Met Woody Bell. These guys were RCA, Rodeo Cowboys Association members. When I was a kid, I worked in a Richfield gas station at night. And I loved it on the weekends because they'd be going to rodeos in California, Idaho, someplace, and they'd be coming home. And I could be there, and I knew when they were coming. And I got to meet them, talk to them. Old Baldy C, the stud that they run with Harry Charters for years. I kept him at my house. I pet him every day, feed him. I wanted to be a cowboy. I wanted the lifestyle. Then I turned 16, and I started going to high school rodeos, and then I wanted to be a cowboy. And then I read about all these champions that I wanted to be like. But in my mind, I was them. I was a cowboy. I wanted to be a champion. Then I started getting around those champions. And then I found out something, why rodeo is different than any other type of physical giving. The word is dedication. You brag on it. You've proved it. We talk about it on this stage with these young people. The rodeo business is a business because of the money involved. Rodeo is not a sport, it's a lifestyle.
Thank you very much.
Every rodeo that all of us, and Donnie works with us as an announcer, which is a kick in the ass to work with him. Boyd and I have been to Denver, Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio, Angelo, chung, 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 to Calgary, to Edmonton, back to chung, 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 side by side or separate. Rodeo is a lifestyle. Now, I have been reprimanded by some of our leaders a time or two for saying this. If we were a sport, we'd be on the sports page. We're not. The only thing that came close to a sport was when Randy Bernard was at the early helm of the PBR, and USA Today, during the PBR finals, carried some coverage. There's only one Randy Bernard. The man's brilliant. He walks on water. He doesn't need to know where the rocks are. He's done a phenomenal job of packaging a certain group of people that wear helmets, not hats. The vest, we dress them up, we put them in flak suits, and they ride. And I believe in what he did, what he's doing, and how it's evolved. The ERA, is a lifestyle, but it's the ending of the lifestyle. It's a point of graduation where you still maintain dedication. And I understand their investment. I understand why they want it. And I understand that they deserve it. But when you are a part of a lifestyle, it's like an old rancher, and you got a son, and you got a grandson. I'm at that point. I want to build everything I can for my grandson, but my son-in-law gets it, and he may or may not ever do it. In the rodeo business, when you play football, okay, and all the great football players, Donnie Gay told me something 30 years ago that I've never forgot. When you get to be a rodeo cowboy's kid, you get to be 17, 18, 19, 20 years old before you ever get to a physical, mental, and ability standpoint to really excel and find out whether you're going to make it or not, okay? He and I raised girls. We don't have sons. We've raised 2 daughters. And when you play football and you're a college football player, you can have a family and got kids. When the kid's 2 years old, you can throw him a football. Okay? When the kid's 2 years old and you're an 8-time world champion father, you can't throw him a bull. The greatest thing Donnie Gay ever did was help create with you and Terry when you put the Mighty Bucky thing together years ago so kids could do it. Donnie said to me one time, and we were in a group of people, and he said, when rodeo kids get ready to go to rodeo, if their parents don't drag them to it, they're never going to see it. If they don't stick them on them or put a rope in their hand, they're never going to apply themselves. When a kid's 2 and 3 years old, you can throw him a frisbee, you can throw him a baseball. And he has somebody to emulate that with on sports, so forth, at school.
Let me add to that.
Please.
Let me add to that. I mean, we as a society pay our tax dollars and we buy and pay for soccer fields, tennis courts. You go to any high school anywhere, and our tax dollars, property taxes in most cases, have paid for an opportunity for people to learn and to have a tennis coach, a golf coach. Okay? Right. The bottom line is rodeo is not underwritten by society as a whole. So if you're going to learn it, you're probably going to learn it by living it, by being on a ranch, by going to an uncle who has a ranch. And as we've watched society and ranching and farming become more and more corporate, there's less and less people who have an uncle who own a family farm, who own a family ranch. But there's one thing I want to disagree with you on, Bobby. I agree that rodeo is a lifestyle, okay? But you can't be a champion in this sport without being a great athlete, okay? Okay, and I know I'm gonna make put Donnie on the muscle, and I'm gonna tell him he's clutchier than shit, but still won 8 world championships because of clutch, right? No, the guy's got balance. He's got shit that other guys wish they had. Otherwise, he wouldn't have won 8 world championships. It is a sport. The only reason people buy tickets to it is because it's a lifestyle. That I will not argue. But at the end of the day, we have handicapped ourselves to look at this simply as a lifestyle, as a Wild West show, rather than marketing the athletes and the animals. And by marketing the animals, we do away with some of the animal rights issues that we face, okay? No, I'm coming to you. I'm just about done. Sorry. Anyway, Donnie, I'm like the judges right now. He's wanting to beat his head on the floor. But the bottom line is I do think and I'll go back 30 years. I think if you could have sold Donnie Gay and said, look, he's going to be here on Thursday night. Donnie Gay, you know who he is. He's the 8-time world champion bull rider. The only guy to ever win 8 times. He's going to be in Spooner, Wisconsin on Thursday night. I think you sell out Thursday night. Where if people knew he was going to be there, he'd have been there. Now, a majority of the people may have showed up just to be a part of the Heart of the North Rodeo in Spooner, Wisconsin, but there's going to be a certain segment of them that go, I came here to see Donnie Gay. And by doing that, you elevate his name. And by elevating his name, and he's done quite well because of his accomplishments and his ability to communicate. There's a lot of guys that don't have his charisma, that don't have his ability to communicate, that won't do as well no matter how many world championships they win. But Joe Montana, who we never hear of anymore today, is a rich man today because he's a great National Football League quarterback, okay? So is Jack Nicholson, okay, in golf. And I'm just saying that if people would have paid to see Donnie rather than showing up and going, hey, I went to the Heart of the North and Donnie Gay was there. Well, how about was as past tense? I'm going to the Heart of the North because Donnie Gay will be there. And I think that's what we should strive for, not just as a sport, but as a lifestyle.
Donnie, let me quickly do this. I want to, because Joe,
Go
and
ahead.
I appreciate,
Go ahead.
No,
I mean,
I
that was
appreciate
good.
everything you've said, but Joe and Donnie are elite rodeo athletes, which is the dumbest title I've ever heard, that ERA thing. But anyway, you guys are what we're talking about. I can't say what you would have done or anything else, but I want to get your perspectives on this as...
The biggest reason that doesn't work is because you can't name one guy that you're going to tell that you're going to be in Spooner, Wisconsin on Wednesday night. I might tell you to kiss my butt. I don't want to go. It don't pay enough money. Or that I don't like the stock, or I don't like something else. That's why our business is as it is.
And that's why
Aaron
the PBR said you will show up or you won't be on the tour.
I have my hand up. That's why Aaron Rodgers, when he gets to great quarterback. I love Green Bay Packers a little. But he's going to have to take his helmet and shoulder pads off pretty quick. You know, a couple of years, 3 years, 4 years. You know, I still ain't had to take my cowboy hat off.
Yeah, but
and it's been 30 years since I've been on one.
And we went through this with the Pro Tours years ago, you know, that was the build, the Donnie Gays to lock us in or whatever. But here's my deal still. If you're not paying me a salary and you're not guaranteeing me money, you're not going to tell me where to go and win.
Thank you very much.
And here's
or
the bottom
what to
line.
do when you get
the
there.
ERA, in my point, my lookout is it's a great thing for, and they're friends of mine. Don't get me wrong, great friends. But it's great for Cody Teal and Bobby Moat and Trevor and Fred and people that are wanting to, Jake Barnes probably wants to slow down and they want to go to a few. But what makes a champion to the elite status, in my eyes, as a spectator doing TV out here, is that guy that goes to 75, 80 rodeos a year and that comes to the national finals and steps his game up and rides 3 out of the first 4 and wins enough to be a world champion, not a limited champion. And that's what the ERA is to me as a contestant.
And the number 5 guy is going to starve flat to death because he can't beat number 1 and 2 on a regular basis unless they have real uneven stock.
That's why I said their business model is flawed.
Yes.
It is flawed.
Bob, go ahead.
Okay.
Please, but be brief, please, Bob. If
No,
you
it's
please. No, I want to know you want to.
They know they can leave if they want to.
Okay.
But we're good.
all right. We didn't answer the question.
Okay.
We didn't answer the question. This business is a lifestyle. Ty Murray said it as good as I've ever heard it. As long as the passengers are flying the plane, we're not going to gain any ground. And the rule changes happen 16 times a week. When things don't work for those who are in charge, they change the rules. And guys like Boyd and I have to make up for it to make it work. And I love Trevor Brazil, but I love Larry Mahan and Jim Shoulders. You run them all in there in the same white shirts. And if Boyd and I don't tell them who it is, they don't know who it is.
Thank you very much.
Amen.
Enough said.
So until you make a business plan decision to equalize the playing field, and you can't do it with the livestock the way they buck, can't do it with a set of calves or a set of steers. And until we do that, we're going to maintain a lifestyle. Bobby Del Vecchio proved this coming out of the Bronx. He was unique. He was an oddity, but he could ride. And the son of a buck today is still brilliant selling
pretty
cars.
good too.
And he could do it because he was flamboyant, and people got used to seeing the boy from the Bronx. And he sounded like he came from the Bronx, but he could ride. And he had the same dedication. These guys taught him. All he wanted to do was be like them, and they taught him how to be like them, and he became a champion.
Dang near too good.
Yeah, and there's a part of me that hopes that never changes. There's one other thing, too, that will forever splinter the Cowboys as a group. How many steers can you run in one day?
Exactly.
How many steers? 10, 20, 30? You can pay on every run that he throws his rope. You're a bull rider. You can't get on. You can't get on 30 head, okay? Well, now, what's it take you to compete? $100,000 horse, $100,000 trailer, $300,000 truck, trailer, horse, saddles, bull rider, $1,000. I'm in the game. Enter me. I got a rigging bag with a bull rope, rosin, and a leather glove. It says Donnie Gay on it. Screw you! I can ride on it. I can ride.
And you're 100%. But when we do all this comparison of all the major sports, how many little league baseball teams are there? How many little junior football leagues? And then there's junior high, and then there's high school. And and if you really want to learn, you want to be a pro, there's a lot of them that's not going to grow over 6'5", so you can't play basketball, but you might be able to play football. They ain't no damn bunny slope in bull riding.
No.
You know, and so we have got to figure out a way that when a youngster wants to ride, he doesn't show up to Chris Knapp's ranch and he's furnishing bulls to the CBR, and they want to get on he's been on 2 bulls, and then some of their friends, and they bring some of these bred to buck 3-year-olds that they want to put, you know, to win $100,000 in one of these deals up here, and knock the wax out of their ears about 4 or 5 times, and then they're going to go off and ride bicycles or something.
Right. He quits. My point is,
we lose our guys. We don't have a replacement.
The economics. How do you get Cowboys to coalesce? First of all, let me say this before I go backwards. There is nothing but standalone rough stock events don't sell near as many tickets as a pro rodeo event. Standalone timed events do not sell near as many tickets as a pro rodeo event. What sells the most tickets is a combination of rough stock and timed events. We need everybody.
So rodeo.
We need team ropers. We need bronc riders. We got to have everybody, because if we don't have everybody, we lose the domesticated horse in the timed events. We lose so much stuff that people are attracted to. That's why being a cowboy is the most important thing. I don't care if you ride a bucking horse or rope a calf. You're a cowboy. That's the most important thing that we have to market. We're an American icon, okay? But how do you coalesce people who go, well, they came to see the rough stock events. Hell, half the people walk out during the team roping. You know, the bottom line is we need everybody, because we won't sell as many tickets without any one membership group, okay? So you can't lose sight of what rodeo is as a production, as an entertainment product that has to compete against the putt-putt golf or the go-kart track or the movie theater. We're in the entertainment business. Our job is to convince you, if you got $30 in your pocket, come spend it at a rodeo. We'll give you more fun than you'll get anywhere else. And it takes all events, barrel racing, bull riding, team roping, calf roping, steer wrestling. We need it all. It's proven in communities all across North America that if you try to go with just the rough stock events or just the timed events, you won't win. You won't win.
Okay. Now, how do you adapt to it? It's going to pay $8.25 million this week in Las Vegas at the team roping. And we've got one going on right here in
it's
our
their
arena.
Own money, though, Bob.
No, but let me finish. God damn it, you've run over me 4 times already tonight. The thing is, in thinking about where you're going, Thursday afternoon, Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock in the Orleans Arena, we have 7 events.
Yep.
7 events. You can come watch J.R. Verzane. You can come watch J.W. Harris. You can come watch Cody Old. You can come watch Cody Wright. You can come watch R.C. Landingham, the college superstar. We have 7 events. It's a rodeo. And you know what? Those guys were either injured, were out. They qualified 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, plus the invitees and all the world titles and the $3 million that he's won. But he's bringing with him a young rookie. Come and see a rodeo at the Orleans Hotel Arena this week,
And
and
get
we're
the-
going to
get
show
the
you
app.
what it's about. Athleticism, competition, dynamics of drive, and dedication.
Let's get
Let's go.
let's get the Boyd Gaming app. You can win. You got a chance to win $100,000. Sure, can win a lots of beer. Predicting who's winning, what they scored, times, and guess what? At the sports book. Now he's going to be trying to beat some guys in the team roping, and me and him's buddies. But the odds at the sports
Should be
book,
really
first time
in
in
my
history,
favor.
he's probably going to be like 100 and something to 1. I'm going to gamble with Mr. Beaver, and so. But I mean, this is going to be a lot of fun.
This is
and,
something new.
Boyd Gaming.
We've been waiting on this, Donnie. We've been talking about this, you and I
talked
over a
about
box of wine in his suite. We talked about it till 4 o'clock one morning.
Hey, it was a $high box of
$1.
wine, people.
I'm
We don't
talking
drink
about
the cheap stuff.
Hey, I'm talking about
Here was the
give you
label.
a headache from hell, the worst in the world. But we talked about gambling on
This is
radio.
going to be a great deal.
the
Orleans
ticket
Arena,
offices.
right here,
Yep.
and you can get your tickets at the box office. And it's cost $20 retail. If you put LV
Shoot.
CHUTE, and it costs $15, $5 off at the box office,
And
boydgaming.com. But it's at the Orleans Arena.
2 o'clock. Come see us. A rodeo.
I mean, how
It's
many
too
times
cheap.
can you
Buy
go
a ticket
shopping
and
for
be there.
goodness sake?
Thank you all for coming tonight. Give these guys a hand. What I do want to tell you is we have prizes to give away this evening. So let us close out this portion of this. We appreciate you coming to National Finals tonight. It is never dull here. I guarantee you that. We thank you for being a part of it here tonight. We'll close this out, then we'll give away prizes. Thanks for being here.
And when you get to prize and everything, then if you still don't want to go to bed, Gary LeFew's legendary Buck and Ball is just about 50 paces that way. So.
Donnie was there till 3 in the morning last night. So,
Oh, yeah.
All right, wrap it up, guys.
Thank you for watching and attending the show. We hope you enjoyed this presentation of National Finals Tonight Show at the Orleans, where all the Cowboys go after the rodeo. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, same time, same place. Get your tickets to the Cinch Boyd Gaming Shootout Rodeo, December 10th, 11th, and 12th, right next door. Prices start at $20 for the new way to rodeo. Head to the Buck and Ball Saloon for live music and dancing, beer and drink specials, and best of all, no cover charge. We're going to dance and party till the cows come home at the Buck and Ball.